2-1-1-0.
This is AENN, American Exceptionalism News Network.
But let's get on to Rule 7. I love Rule 7. I'm not going to discuss too much about this. I think I've already mentioned it. But these pictures here, this is Cairo in Egypt just about a year and a half ago. As they were overthrowing Morsi and the Muslim Brotherhood, the largest protest for freedom ever on the planet took place not too long ago because they wanted to overthrow the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. Did you hear about that? It was one of the largest protests for freedom. Now, some people would argue with me about the type of freedom they wanted. They just wanted Morsi out. They knew totalitarianism was there and they didn't want it. This is a picture of the masses in 1988 and 89. And of course, this is Tiananmen Square. Freedom has a price. There's no question about it. I go into this whole thing about totalitarianism. In fact, this is a shortened version of the 4-hour lecture that I give. But a couple of things that will connect dots with you. And if I can leave here tonight and you understand. It's always centralized control by an autocratic authority. There's always one or two people at the top. I'll get the classic example is with Common Core. Common Core and the writing of those standards, controlled by 8 people, and one of them's Arnie Duncan. How many of you have met Arnie Duncan? I have. I sat in a meeting with him in Washington, D.C. I am here to tell you, he's as dumb as a box of rocks. Hello? I mean, I felt offended, and so did the other educators at the table because, like, we're the real deal. We're real educators. We get it. Arnie Duncan didn't get it. He had no idea, in my opinion, he had no idea what in the world Nickleby was, No Child Left Behind. Because when we started talking about the reauthorization, you could see the blank stare on his face like, oh, we had to do that? Hello? Yes, you did. And so, I mean, when we walked away from that meeting, people were like going, wow. And that was 2011. That's what you, I guess it comes down to the guy who was in the Situation Room the night of Benghazi. You heard about that? Hey, dude. Comes down to that. What are they trying to do? What's the end game for them? And it's in the red letters there. Totalitarians want to destroy autonomy in governments. And I'll tell you what autonomy is. You have a school board. You have a city council. And they really don't play well, do they? They do their own thing, right? Because you got somebody doing schools, you got somebody doing city council business, then you got somebody doing council, then you got county, then you got people doing water boards, right? That's our governance system. And then we have these things called counties, and counties build into states. And everybody's autonomous because everybody can act and do on their own. They don't have to be told what to do, right? Well, totalitarianism eliminates that. And one of the best tools they have is this thing called regionalism. Unelected officials who are dictating rules and regulations and charging you fees and fines, such as CARB. There's 11 people on the CARB board, and it's Mary Nichols. Mary Nichols, by the way, she was on the President's Council with Clinton. Hello? She's unelected, she's appointed by the governor, and she's running around fining people all over the place. Let me tell you about CARB and my experience with him. Katie Grimes, she's a columnist, and she's now with, it's called Freescope, I believe it's called, and she used to be with Cal Watchdog. And she and I are really close. We've grown close over the years because she goes and actually sits in the CARB meetings. And so they had a thing on their website about how they were bragging that they had given 10,000 tickets to truckers to get them in line. That's what it said on the website. Now that caught my eye. I said, Katie, you go to these meetings. What's that all about? Oh, they brag about it all the time. I said, well, where do they have any kind of enforcement with the Highway Patrol to do that? She goes, that's a good question. So she asked the people at CARB, and they refused to answer. So, Katie being Katie, she calls the Highway Patrol. We'll get back to you. So then I call the Highway Patrol. And I called somebody I know at the Highway Patrol. I'll get back to you, Paul. And I said to him before he hung up, you don't have the authority, do you? No comment, Paul. Click. This is a lawless, totalitarian group. Period. End of subject. They need to be challenged in court. This is socialism, communism to the max. It's regionalism. And they have regional control all over the state, and they are absolutely destroying this state through their edicts, because these are true totalitarians in action. And the bigger scheme of this is the carbon credit trading scheme, right? Oh yeah. Well, people like, there's only 3 of these trading places in the world. Did you know that? One, I think, is in Geneva. The other one's in Perth, not Perth, but Sydney, Australia, and Sacramento, California. The liberals are just playing this game. Have they made any money on these carbon credit trading schemes? 0, per se. They've made some. The people who are really kind of doing the trading are the big energy companies. And will they let you in to see the trading going on? Oh, no, you can't go in. Press is not welcome. No one can go in and see what the trading is. It's completely sealed up and you can't see it. That is totalitarianism. That's why I say about California, and by the way, the Russian word for regionalism, it's called Soviet. So when you take a look at our flag, when I look at it now, I see the California Soviet Socialist Republic underneath the bear. Because that's what this is.